How do you feel about your desires, the ones that haven't come yet? Do you feel doubtful or do you feel hopeful? Do you feel ready for them or are you pissed that they're not here yet? How do you feel about your desires? How you feel about your desires tell you everything about what's going to happen next. Because that's the thing about your emotions. Your emotions are your GPS system. Whatever you feel and whatever you get in terms of manifestation are always a match. Next time, notice that, because what you get in terms of manifestation, the vibrational properties, the very vibrational essence of that manifestation matches exactly how you felt before it happened. It's always the case. It's always the law. It's a law of attraction. And so we're trying to get you in the mode or the habit of changing how you feel. But so much about how you feel is tied to what you're seeing. Most of your vibration is being offered in observance to what you're seeing with your eyes right now, because this reality is so real. But this reality is not as real as you think it is. It really isn't. And the reason that we know that is because we know that this reality that you're looking at is a physical culmination of the vibrational maturation of frequencies. So as these frequencies become matured, as the momentum is being added to them due to the sort of due to no contradictory thoughts, then those thoughts, those frequencies are now available to the translators. And if there's no translator, then the vibration is not able to be translated. So it still exists. That's the thing. It does exist, but there's no one there to translate it. That's the thing about your desires. Everything that you want, this dream life, has all been caused as a result of your life. Because as a result of your asking and as a result of you banging around and being here in your life moment, and all of these little moments in your life, the totality of this experience, you have asked. Your desires have been heard by the universe. The universe not only hears your desires, but your inner being becomes vibrational equivalent. Your inner being says, oh, you want this, we're going to become the equivalent of it. Your inner being takes the jump for you. You take the expansion, you are the expansion. You become expanded as a result of this life experience, as a result of every single moment that you're here. And then your inner being becomes the vibrational match. And so now 2 points of relativity are now introduced into the equation. So now whenever you want more money, there's 2 points of relativity that you have to consider. How am I feeling? Not in relation to what my bank account is, not in relation to how other people may see me, not in relation to how the government may see me, or how my friends may see me, or how my siblings or parents may see me, how my inner being sees me. Those are the only 2 points of relativity that matter, because that is what equals your guidance system. That's what equals your GPS system. So the vortex is such a powerful place. That's where all of the good art comes from. That's where the musicians get their music from. That's where the books are written from. It's from that state. It's from that state. And that state is who you are. You have to become that state. And your inability or your refusal to be in that state because you want to be out here where the things are manifested, you want to be realistic, so you're not willing to be in the vortex, because that vortex is operating and is a high flying frequency that you have to match, because the vortex will never come down to you. And the thing that's interesting about the vortex is everything that you want is in there, and so your job is to become a match to the vibrational vortex. And the way that you know you're a match to the vibrational vortex is literally how you feel. And that vibrational vortex is where all of your stuff is, and it's your current reality as far as your inner being is factored into the equation. Your inner being is like, this is our reality. We are rich. We are not only rich, we have the dream body. We have all the things, and your inner being is over there standing as the vibrational equivalent of everything that you want, and is literally beckoning you. That's what equals your emotions. So when you have strong negative emotion, it's because the calling of your inner being is just that strong. And so when you feel strong negative emotion, it's really on the opposite side of that negative emotion. That's your path. That's how you get on your path, by feeling for that emotion. But how are you going to make the vortex something that's real for you? Because you care about how you feel. You care about how you feel. And everyone is creating by default. And truly, no one wants to, but no one's really asking the questions that lead to the right answers, which is you can create your own reality. You can offer your vibration willingly. You can offer your vibration as a result of what it will net you, and not as a result of what you're seeing. You don't have to continue to perpetuate things that you already see because they're real. No, you can introduce something else into the mix, which is this vibrational reality. It's a feeling place. It's a state of being. It's not a physical place. It's not like a place that once you get into, you're good. It's actually the place that you get into, and then when you look at this life experience that you've created, and this vortex that you've accumulated as a result of this life experience, this life experience becomes enhanced. You become source energy in a human body, and because there are 2 points of relativity that are always acting off of each other, then there is a possibility of basically like vibrational experience. You can be off or on, off or on. That's what your emotions are all about. And you don't really need patience when you understand that. When you understand that there are these 2 points of attraction, there is these yes, and all you have to do is make them meet, and that's what your emotions are about. And basically you just have to care about how you feel, which is really interesting because you don't have to be patient when you're in the vortex. And we know that everything that you want is because of how it feels. And everyone's in the vortex at one point during the day. That's how everyone is, because you're naturally high flying creatures. Everyone is. And when you sleep and when you wake up in the vortex, everyone does, but then you start to relitigate what happened yesterday. And so you're like, oh yeah, I'm feeling good, I woke up. Oh yeah, I'm really poor. Oh yeah, this is not working for me. Oh yeah, I'm not a processed person, I'm not confident, I'm a loser. And you start and you renew your subscriptions to all of these stories, and that's what your life experience. And you're like, see everyone, I told you, that's the truth, that's who I am, that's just what happens to me. And we're like, no, you keep renewing the same thoughts over and over again because those thoughts have momentum, and it's not your fault. Law of attraction helps you. So since everyone is in the vortex at one point during the day or the other, the trick is learning how to stay there. Not everyone knows that, because everyone does get in the vortex. Everyone is in the vortex at one point or the other, but no one knows, or no one is being deliberate about their life. But you are. You're now, when you're in the vortex, now when you catch yourself in that moment of satisfaction where you just randomly feel good, you're like, yeah, life is good, I just feel peace. Maybe you're looking out the window, maybe you're listening to music, maybe you're just scrolling on social media, maybe you're just busying your mind with some action, and while you're doing that action, your mind is free. You're in the vortex, you are now in the receiving mode. And so now your job is to milk it. See, that's what the master does. The master milks it. Because when you're looking for something, you can never find it, because you're operating or you're vibrating at a frequency of absence. So instead of looking for something, it's better to just wake up early, or not wake up early. It's just to wake up and get out of bed and realize that when you wake up, when you're awake, you're waking up early. That's so funny. Because you don't have to wake up early, you can go whenever you want. But when you wake up, you have to know and realize that you're in the vortex. You have to realize that you're in the vortex. And then you gotta stay there longer. You gotta milk. You gotta talk about things that are easy. You gotta lay off life's problems. You gotta talk about how comfy your bed is. And once 17 seconds is hit, and another 17 seconds, and another 17, and then once you hit the 68-second marker, then you're rocking and you're rolling. Now that higher frequency is available to you, more available to you than it's ever been throughout the day. And that's what's so important about all of this, is that you want to get out ahead of life. You want to make sure that you have you want to make sure that your parachute works before you jump out of that plane. But once you're jumping out, it's too late to be like, wait a second, is it work or not? Because now you're gonna fall, and you just have to wait until you crash. But when you're sure you're in the high flying disc, and now you can have fun. And it's really interesting because when you're in the vortex, you have access to so much more understanding and so much more clarity. And that's the thing that's really interesting about the vortex, is that when you're there, you realize that it's really easy to be here. It's not like, it's just a clarity. It's something that's really not only simple, but it's something that's very, 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 it's very manageable. You can do it. It's not hard. But the thing is, it's not like a college degree. And so when you're there, you're there, and when you're not there, you're not there. And that's what's fun about life, is that you get in, you get it, you get in, you get in, you get out. It's not about being there the whole time. It's not a message of being happy the whole time, because there's contrast. There's always going to be resistance in this environment. Resistance is cool, because imagine like you're going down, because you need resistance when you're driving really fast and you're going down the hill and you want to brake. You need resistance to make sure that your car doesn't topple over. You need resistance to not really to kind of ground yourself here, or to ground yourself here, because imagine if we're all just floating around. That wouldn't be really that much fun. Resistance is good, and we want you to realize that resistance is something that you can manage. There's a resistance that's manageable, and there's a resistance that's not manageable. But you can manage your resistance. You can manage this vibrational gap. For it is a vibrational gap, because it is about the path of least resistance, because there is a path of least resistance. You are literally carving out through your thoughts a path of least resistance. But the thing about the path of least resistance is that you can really take any path. The path of least resistance is up to you, but truly you can take any path. But how do you know what path to take? That's something that's really interesting. How do you know exactly what to do? Right? Imagine when you have some energy, how do you know what to do? So our human friends are so good at conditions. Everyone is a conditional lover, but we're trying to get you to become unconditionally good at loving, an unconditional lover, because that's who you truly are. That's who you were when you came into this body. So when you're faced with any direction that you can go in, what we say is, instead of talking about what direction or which direction will let you what, talk about how you want to feel. Because you have to step back and you have to do the quote unquote the good work. You have to talk about the frequency that you want to feel. When you talk about how you want to feel, you go general. Emotions are general. And as you talk about emotions and you talk about how you want to feel, you get into the vortex, and then you can literally, then the details will fill in. Then your vortex will tell you what to do, because ultimately you can go in any direction. You can make any decision and line up with it. But the thing about taking action, the thing about and our human friends are so amazing, but this is what you do. You take the action and then you hope that the emotion will come afterwards. You take action and then you hope the action will inspire the emotion. But we're like, it's the opposite. It's emotion. The emotion inspires action, because when the emotion inspires action, now you have less, now you're rocking and rolling and there's less resistance, because now you step back and you let the universe do all the work for you. Because that's how, because you're getting impulses all the time. And the thing about impulses, because when we're talking about impulses, we're really talking about momentum. And when we're talking about momentum, we're talking about knowing what receiving mode you're in before that car gets rolling. So when you know what receiving mode you're in and you like that receiving mode, and we're going to speed up because it's like, it's coming in, we got to translate. And we're translating at speed. When the impulses come up, sometimes you gotta follow them just to know what receiving mode you're in. But we're talking about knowing what car the car is before you hop in. So imagine you're feeling good, you're feeling satisfied. You woke up on a high flying disc. You milked it. You stayed there, and we're gonna talk about milking in a little bit of detail in a little bit. So you're feeling good, you're feeling interested, and then now bang, an idea comes to you, and then the idea, at first it feels like good, but then you introduce doubt into the equation, because you're like, oh, the opposite side is like, what if no one, oh, this is a book idea, but what if no one wants to read it? And so you, but see, here's the thing, it's not that the impulse didn't come from source. The impulse did come from source, but you talked yourself out of it. The good feeling now became muddied. It became diluted as you introduced thoughts that were resistant in nature, and then now the idea doesn't feel good to you. And so it's like, do I take this impulse? Do I act on this impulse, or do I leave it? And we say, well, but see, this is the thing that's really smart about those who are creative. They procrastinate, because you know that if I take action right now, when I feel like cross current of my own energy, then I'm gonna have to use more of my action, and that's not what I want to do. Because when it doesn't feel clear, when it doesn't feel like open roads, and that means that there's cross currents, and I'm using more of an effort, and it's not the time. This is not the time. This is something that's more for me to think about. And as you play it out in your mind and you work out the kinks, then you're carving out more paths of least resistance. You're carving out the path of least resistance, or now that book writing and the title, everything is just going to be easy. Because when an impulse comes from source, here's the thing, the impulses are coming from source all the time. Your desires exist. It's not, but here's the thing, it's not that they're not there and you just can't see them. It's that they're there and you're just not able to tune to them yet. Because your inability to tune to them has everything to do with literally how you feel about them, and it has really everything to do with the momentum that you have. So imagine like you're in your day, right? And how you feel about maybe like a topic like money. You can't tune to the more money, to the fortune, because you're tuned to the absence of it. And every time you try to tune to the presence, the absence is just so much more enamoring, so you keep thinking about it. And we're like, that's why we ask you, how do you feel about your desires? Because that's what tells you. Because if this is your dialogue, if you're saying something like, well, I know I don't have my physical desire yet, but I have the emotional version and I have the vibrational version and I love it, then that feels different. You're able to tune to it better, and that's the type of momentum that you need, because now you're rocking and you're rolling and you're going to get what you want. Because when we say you don't need patience, in its essence, what it really means is that you just don't need your manifestation right now. The second that you launch your desire, don't need the physical manifestation in that red hot moment, because that's where a lot of doubt kicks in, because you expect it right away. But we're like, it's like a seed that you plant, and we say, like, you talk about why you want it, and when you talk about why you want it, is general. The emotion is general, and the manifestation is very specific. Like the feeling of the car and the clarity that you have and the security of that car is going to feel very different than actually touching the car with your fingertips. We know that, but we need you to take the path of least resistance. It's the easiest way. It's truly like, it's a hack, but it's not a secret. It's like, it's a common sense, because you're literally doing it at so many levels of your being, on so many topics, because there are so many topics that you're doing so well on. But these are topics that there are just some topics that you want some more changes on. We got you. You want to talk about why you want it. You want to talk about how it feels, because now you're getting the emotion, and the emotion, as you talk about it, it'll prepare your vibration, and then the details will start to fill in. Now you'll get ideas. Now the impulses will come, and when the impulses come, maybe you'll still feel a little resistance, but you'll just go right back to the general and talk about why you want it, and then you're really carving out the path of least resistance. Now you're really molding the clay. Now you're like, okay, there's resistance, so I'm going to step back into the emotion, and then I'm going to step back into the specifics, because when I get into the vortex, I'll take another shot at it. And it's kind of like that. You want to take it as like, it's either I get it today, it's either something comes out of my vortex today, or it's either I ask for more. I get to see the absence of it, and I get to ask for more and more and more. And we're like, either way you win. Either way you truly win. That's the approach that truly does matter, because ultimately you're always going to be in a place of asking for more. And even if you don't get what you want, you're still asking for it even stronger now. So there's a lot of benefit to that, truly, because when you have nothing, that's when you really want everything. And so friends, it's really it's really imperative to care about how you feel, one, because when you care about how you feel, you don't need patience, because now you're feeling good. Now you're feeling good even before it happens, because your job is to feel good even in the absence. And it's really cool because when we say that you can't have the physical version, we're not saying you just can't have it right now because that's a law of attraction. That's on law of attraction. What we're really saying is that you can't have it now because because the asking mode and the receiving mode are two different. So when you ask for it, there has to be space before you go into the receiving mode. But we're not really talking about time, or it could be seconds. Like the problem and the solution can come literally together, can come perceptually together. And so there's really no buffer time. But if there is a buffer time, it's because you're not really talking about the vibrational version. You're pissed that it's not here yet. You're like, I don't care about clarity anymore. I don't care about emotions. I want my money. And the thing is, we get it, because you got to build due tomorrow. You can't really talk about clarity and peace and ease, and yet that's your job. Because as you continue to talk about it, and as you continue to put your stake into a reality that you can't yet see with your eye, but yet you have the seed for it, and so it's not hoping anymore, it's knowing. Logically that I have the seed for it because I know how it feels, and I felt it, and I felt the essence of it. I milked the feeling of it. So in me milking the feeling of it, that seed will expand. It will expand, and it will grow it will blossom into the plant that I want. So yeah, it's becoming, and I'm not mad that it's not here because I still have the seed, and the seed will germinate, and it will grow, and it will bloom. And that's really on the absence of your desire. Your desire is becoming phases. It really is. But how long it takes to become is really up to you. That's the thing about patience, is that you are the one who controls timing. You're the one who is carving out the path of least resistance. And so friends, continue to stay in your vortex. Continue to stay in your vortex, and to reach for your vortex and reach for feeling good, because we know that time is irrelevant. Time is irrelevant. You don't need to be patient because time is irrelevant. And you know why time is irrelevant? Because alignment takes care of everything. When you're in alignment, when you're truly in the vortex, then it's not like you defy time, but time is perceptual in the sense where everything is just a vibration away. You just have to tune into it. Do you know what that means? It means that what you want is literally here with you right now. You can feel it, but you can't yet see with your eye. But you have to bank on the fact that you can feel it. And as you can feel it, it will literally, it's a seed. It's a seed that will bloom into it will blossom into the plant. So as you hold true to that, then you're rocking and rolling. You literally have the formula for everything that you want. And we love that for you. And we love that along the way, you're going to have happiness. You got to be happy all along the way, because that's your work. You got to make your desires feel good to you. And this is crazy because all of you are doing so well, because you're asking, you're mixing up, and we just think you should be receiving a lot more. You haven't even scratched the surface on the true party that your life can be. Yes, many are living lives of mediocrity. They're putting up with mediocrity because they don't want to be deliberate, because being deliberate means setting an emotion, focusing on emotion apart from the reality that you're seeing. But when you're so tied to the reality, the physical reality, and you have no ties to the vibrational reality, then you can't really get anywhere. You're just stuck where you are, and you just hope for the best, and you get what you get. But when you care about how you feel, and everything will coalesce around you caring about how you feel. And when you care about how you feel, now you're tuning yourself to the vibrational reality. And as you tune yourself to the vibrational reality, now reality, it just has to catch up to it.